Hey, for this week's video, I wanted to talk about food and how and why you should make food your medicine so that your medicine doesn't eventually become your food. And this came to mind as a video topic after having a conversation with somebody about a week ago. They were telling me about like all the different like supplements that they're taking, um, and it got me thinking about a time when I was also taking a lot of supplements. Um, as a kind of self medication. Uh, and I realized that after doing some research, that it really just comes from like a lack of essential nutrients um, that we get from the food that we eat. A lot of the produce and foods that we get from grocery store lack um, some of the essential minerals and nutrients that we need to just function throughout the day. And the reason why that is, or at least one of the primary reasons why that is, I think, is because of all the topsoil erosion that's occurred in the states from like monoculture agriculture for a handful of crops that the state subsidizes, that the government subsidizes, um, and it has a slew of just like other downstream effects from increased fertilizer use, decreased biodiversity, and it just disrupts like the overall makeup of the soil, and as a result, the harvest that you get from um, the crops for different foods are kind of just lackluster. They don't really contain a lot of the essential nutrients and minerals that we need. Um, and I think it partly contributed to this need in the market for supplementation when it's really unnecessary. I did some research and I found, I think it was in 1994, there was a bill passed by Congress, and a bunch of lobbyists in like the food and supplementation industry lobbied for this bill, and it essentially classified supplements as food. Now, there's a bunch of ethical problems that exist in like the biotech and biopharmaceutical industry, but at least the regulations that exist, like explicitly by law, are rigorous. You know, it takes 10 to 15 years for a drug to pass clinical trials to like test its efficacy and safety before people actually consume it. Those regulations are nowhere near as rigorous for supplements. And as a result, there's a lot of fitness influencers and pseudoscientists that push their own supplementation with like comparatively little evidence to just calm people, really. And I was thinking of how I made the shift from taking as many supplements. And again, I'm not a doctor. I work in healthcare, but I'm not, a professional in this area. This is just my opinions and my experience. Um, and so if you have like an actual deficiency and your doctor like suggests that you supplement with like vitamin D or whatever, do that. Don't listen to me. This is just for the general population and speaking from my experience. Anyways, um, so I was thinking like how I made the shift, and I stopped taking supplements about a year ago, with the exception of just like vitamin D and calcium. Um, and I've been fine. And one of the biggest changes has just been and eating less processed foods. Um, and most foods you're gonna get in the grocery store are at least like minimally processed, but like ultra processed packaged foods that have like chemicals when you read the labels that you just don't. There's not a name for the ingredients. They just put a random number. Those things are what causes like autoimmune disease and the development of like chronic illnesses and stuff. Um, so ideally, as a solution for myself, I just started eating less processed foods, and I tried growing my own food. Wasn't as successful with it, but I'm still developing that skill. Um, but I think, you know, the ideal solution is to grow and eat your own food. You know where it's coming from. You have control of the environment and the soil. You're treating the soil with the care that you need to get the harvest that you want. That's the ideal solution. A lot of people, obviously, it's not like a viable thing. You live in food deserts. You don't have access to good foods in your area. I get it. But like taking steps towards eating just wholer foods that you have control over, um, I think is a first step. So if I have any call to action in this video, it's just to attempt to be more aware of the food that you're eating and where it comes from, and be aware of the effect that it has on your mental and your body. Um, so yeah, this just came to mind after having this conversation with somebody last week. I appreciate you watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, bye.